Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining tonight's show and a TAIL event hosted by Research Triangle AI Society. I'm Guoliang Cao. I want to thank Mr. Frank Zhao, Henan Li, and Damson Li to share their knowledge with all of us. So without further ado, let's welcome our first guest, Mr. Frank Zhao.
Hello, everyone. I'm Frank. I have been a full stack developer for about 25 years. Today, I'm just want to show a brief introduction of how I use AI in my coding. So, this is mainly target for the beginners who have little or no coding experience using AI. So I'm going to do it quick just to show how AI was involved in my daily work. So for the last few years, I've been helping Raleigh Chinese School to develop these applications. So it's called their information system for doing the school management. So it has some people's to manage their courses and do registration, and also have some accounting features, and also generate some reports. Okay, so the backend is using Node.js. So basically, I'm using the framework called Nest.js. So N-E-S-T, Nest.js. So this is the general statistic for this project. So you can see it about 140 TypeScript files. So this is like a medium complexity. And also it not only have the server side, they also have 3 client side. So one for the admin, one for parents, and also one for teachers. So this is the most complicated, of course, is the admin side. So this is the admin side that composed of like 85 TypeScript files and more than like 11,000 lines of code. So the first job I involved in this one is upgrading the system, because this system was developed probably 3 years ago. At that time, we have to use some, even at that time, it's already little outdated framework. So we have to do an upgrade. So let me just show you what I have done in the upgrade. So this is, I ask Google for the complexity for the upgrade. So we are upgrading from the Angular 15 to Angular 19. This is actually quite complicated. So it's a moderate to high, because it changed, a lot of things changed. So first thing is it not only change from using that like modular based components to the standalone components, and also some flow control also get changed. So this is just give you some feelings how complexity it is. For the backend, the Nest.js 8 to upgrade to the 10 is also moderate complexities. So because I have to say from the statistics, almost like more than 100 files on the front end have been modified. So if we have to do it manually, so it's almost like a very tough job and easy to make mistakes, because I almost have to check every files. But with this AI's help, I can finish this work, like AI can finish this work in just 2 to 3 hours for each project, front end and back end. So most of the time I found in this upgrade project is for testing, to make sure did find some small issues here and there, but AI can fix it quite easily. So, and then I want to give you a more detailed example what I've done in the past few days. So this is the system, and the requirement is they want the parents, when they do the registration, they want to show this confirmation dialog box, which will force the parents to read those school books, to agree those rules. And also most important, because they're going to use students' photos. So there has to be like this kind of provide the links to the documents and also give them, let the parents to choose the permissions. So if they don't want to choose it, we have to also try to hope them to confirm again if they don't give the permission. So after that, they can go to this registration page. And when they add it, we still give another chance if they don't want to give permission. So we need more confirmations. So this basically the project for it. Okay. Then let me show my existing work. So of course, from the beginning, so I have to write a description of what I did. So the first, we usually it's just recommended to start simple. So because this page is already there, it is just, see, this is the previous one. See here, this previous one doesn't have those the documents and also the review box for checking whether give the permissions. So I start this and to do some descriptions, and then immediately AI will give me some design. And then because at that time I don't even know what kind of format of document to provide, so I actually ask what's the benefit for PDF or HTML format for the document, and it did give some recommendations and the reasons to use it. So after discuss some design issues here, I let the AI to do the programming. Okay, so after the programming, because I found this the session usually the Claude Code. By the way, I'm using the Claude Code for the programming. So the session usually have a length limit. So I would like to always document whatever the AI helped me to do. So because it doesn't have a very long memory, after for example, if I close the programming AI today and the next day I want the AI also know where we are working already, we have worked, and then what we are heading. So I always ask after the design, I always ask it to document it, and then we will just discuss about some errors I found. So also I need to do some adjustment on the UI, and also I found some issues like the PDF file. While I click the link, instead of getting the showing the link, showing the document, it actually not like this. It actually immediately downloaded. So I have to ask AI what's the problem. So I thought it's probably a browser based, but it looks like it is just some HTTP header issue. So after that, this first design finished. And then this is the next day. So it probably just like an hour or two is finished. And then the next day it will start again. So I have to tell the AI we are going to continue and where the document is so that it will know where we come from. And then I will just report some issues and the AI just help me to work on it. Okay, so the thing is that, yeah, here is probably interesting. I found an issue with the radio box. So let me demonstrate it a little bit first. So here, so when I add it, so before I added it, here is the actual value. But when I add it, I found that there's a bug that this one was not pre-selected. So I asked AI why this was not selected, and AI thought he found the problems, but I have to report the problem is still there. So I just let the AI to think harder, and then it will just keep looking at it. But I found that the problem is still there. So at this time, I have to do more tests. So that's why I provide more observations. Okay, so I found that instead this value although it's not correct, if I highlight this field and then use the tab key to go to the next field, okay, so probably the AI will re-rendering the field, and then this value suddenly becomes correct. So I have to report this to it. So that's why I said it looks like a rendering issue. But the AI still think it's a data issue. So that's why it still try to call the refresh form data. So I have to tell it it's not the problem because it's still there. So I ask it to revert the change. And then I just ask it to think about any other possibilities. So this time the AI did said he would think about it differently. And then it found out the problems could be that a conflict from the form control name. So it's purely UI issue. So then I can just tell that the problem actually is solved. So this is just one way when we work together. So I do more tests, do more observations, provide more tips for the AI, and then eventually we solve this problem. And then I just ask it to apply this problem because I found this problem could apply across several of my clients because it's not just admin clients, it also could affect the parent website. So I wanted to do it for all the other websites. And then, yes, so here is just some design, some detailed design issue to do it some change. And then I found another error here. So suddenly I found it's got a 404 error. So it looks like the AI even said he can make a typo. So it's interesting. I thought AI could be very precise, but the typo still happens. And then I also keep asking it to summarize what they found. And then after this was designed, and we start to work on the start work on another one, the pop-up interface. So this one, whenever it happens, so I cannot show you the example here. So let me just continue. So I just describe what I want for the dialog box, and then it just ask me a lot of questions actually. So it has an implementer plan and ask me to answer all the questions and propose some workflow. And here are all the questions I have to answer. So I did prepared. So I didn't use that dialog terminal. I used another editor to edit all my answers so I can sync it more systematically. And after that, the UI start to do the implementation. And then I just tell the AI what's my concern and what's need to make sure it works like what I thought. And then here you can see the Claude Code, the session restarted again. So, but since I already keep the design document there, so I'm not really worried. So it probably will forget something. And then you'll just continue working on it. And then I found that it's because this is like designing a new dialog box. It's like a new page. So it tried to it looks like it did lost some concepts of my project. So it tried to create its own CSS file to create its own customized styles. So then when I found it's doing this, I know it probably forgot what my project is using. So I immediately press the escape key and let it stop, and then let it use the existing Bootstrap. So the styles is like a framework, so that we don't have to use this customized as possible. So because the customized will have some maintenance issue in the future, so I just want to use the pre-built styles as much as possible. Okay, and then after that, it's just regular finding tunes and report some errors. Eventually, yeah. And here's for some extra work. So because I was only asked for the admin and adding those to the admin and the parents page, but I thought maybe the teacher also wants to know in their class whose students' photos should not be used. So I just asked the AI to see how much extra work for this extra thing. And then the AI just give me a report says, oh, the complexity is very low. It's only a few minutes work. So then I just let it go ahead. And then it's just finished. So this is just the whole process, how I add this new feature to our Chinese school website. Okay, I think that's it for my sharing for the using AI to my coding.
And my name is Yi. I work with Guoliang and Henan, and we on this session, and really appreciate everyone joining. And the next 10 to 15 minutes, I want to talk about or maybe share my experience about my like a license learned or experience with web coding, especially how we can manage this context when we're using the AI agent coding. And as you can see from Frank's fantastic demo, is kind of like no doubt the AI can write code for us. They can write components, API, tests. However, when the project getting bigger and bigger, when we talk about hundreds, thousands files and tons of features, sometimes I lost the. It's not. It's kind of like I feel the AI tool lost the control, and they're doing something totally different from what I ask. Especially from the maybe project wise, they build some API endpoints, even though there's one already over there, and or they just start building something on the database level without permission, and they messed up something, right? So it is like a very powerful uh, tool or person part of my development team, but I just what I say here, right? Without the right context, is really behave like a new intern with short-term memory loss. Like, okay, I told you many times, everything in my environment is container-based. You do not run Python code on my local environment directly. But after some time later, especially the situation like Frank showed earlier, they compact the history. The AI agent forgot about this. They try to do this again. You just keep asking the same requirements until you feel really frustrated. So I just want to share something I learned on this one because I started using ChatGPT 3.5 to help me code. And finally, we got that time is like a copy paste 1,000 times. I feel really tired until we have a cursor. And right now, I majorly use Claude Code for my coding projects. And then so I do have when I start using the cursor or Claude Code, I do have those situations like the AI don't understand me. So I did some research, read their documents, maybe even talk to AI, try to learn how to use AI. So finally, I got something I can share with everyone. And within the next 10 to 15 minutes, this is going to be just touch the surface. So if you have any question, feel free to contact me after this session. So let's jump into this. So I call this like a 3 layers for the context management when we use AI tool. One is stable. This is high level. It's a whole project. So you can see where you can put all project overview. So what you're doing and the architecture, the tech stack, how you want to manage the coding style. All this is a high level thing, the whole project level. You want to put this in a file. Like for Cloud, it's a cloud.md file. There, every time you start a new session, they will send this very critical information to the AI code so they won't forget what you're trying to do from high level. And you may ask you, this is a new project or existing project, what you can do for this? So my lessons learned is if this is existing project, so luckily Cloud has some tool, like you can do the slash command .init for initiate, and then they will read the whole code base and generate that file for you. And if this is a new project, so my experience is I use AI, maybe ChatGPT or maybe Claude Code itself, where we just say, this is what I want to do. What are your recommendations? So after a couple round of conversation, so AI knows what I want to do. So they generate this file for me. So you can keep that file. If this is a team effort, definitely make this centralized. So share with your team, put it in the repository. When they use Git to fetch the whole repository, they get this file as well. So they can use it and everyone on the same page. And also another thing is you can use this file hierarchical level. So you can do the global. That means even though across the project, like a company has their coding standard, there's a review process, or there's some policies you can put in the global level is across all the projects, or you can have one for the project level. And also for the complex project, you may have front-end folder, back-end folder, all those different components. You can put one for each component. And so then when the AI work on this, they will know, okay, I only work on this component and let me read this file to understand more. So this is kind of like you can manage from hierarchical level when your project become really big. And also don't limit yourself to just the cloud.md for this one single file. You can always put additional documentations in the /doc. That's what I always use. And in that folder, just say, okay, I want to work on something, and this is additional information, or you talk to the Claude Code or AI, finally decide something you want to do, and make sure you always write this information into the doc file. Otherwise, after the compact, the session compact, you will lose those critical information, or you may not have all the details anymore. And so really the recommendation is make those files centralized and update after any major changes or any significant conversation. So this is a stable or whole project level. Next one, let's jump into the feature context. So this is usually what you're doing or your feature or your current focus for the sprint, for the current sprint. You can put feature goals there, your user story there, what you really want to do for this sprint or this story, and acceptance criteria and any constraints like, okay, you can only work on this folder, front-end folder, because supposedly this change just in front-end. Don't work on the back-end or update anything there unless we talk about it first, right? So you can put that limitation there, restriction there. And also some forbidden zones, because supposedly they can read all the files on your drive, right? So you need to limit it, say, don't read my environment file, which has all the API keys, secrets there. And then, yeah, so it's something you can put there. And also forbidden zone, if this is really like API key, not a good example because it's a whole project level. So put this in the stable context, supposedly, right? But you got the point. So basically set up your goal, what you want to do, and then what you cannot do. So as a feature context. And then after that, we jump into each task. This is more like what Frank demoed earlier. So basically you want to understand, make sure the AI understand the requirement correctly. So in addition to ask AI to the questions, more important for me, what I'm aware is ask AI to ask you questions. First, that's kind of like make sure AI fully understand your requirements. Second one is they may have different ways to do the same thing, right? So then the AI will ask you questions. And that's a very important step for the next one is create a plan. So you have make sure AI understand your requirement solidly, and then they create a plan. Say, hey, to do this task, I need to have 3 steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Do you agree? And here is kind of like you are using indeterministic model to generate plan, but here is a collaboration effort between me and AI agent. So I can validate that plan, make sure what we're going to do is a determinist, right? It's kind of like exactly what I want to do. And then after this, they say, okay, go ahead to do this implementation, right? So they will do the code. Maybe I grab a cup of coffee this time, let the AI do their job. And then after that, we can do the testing like Wolfgang demo earlier. So this testing, what you can do is if this is a backend, you can say, hey, I want to have automated test plan, right? So write those testing script because most of complicated project, they want to have a test-driven workflow now. So write this testing for me and run those tests. If this is a UI thing, what you can do is, can you generate a test plan for me, what I need to click? And usually they will based on your requirements, and they just say, okay, to test this, add something, modify something, delete something, here's the step, right? You can follow this, you can hand off this to your teammate, junior person for this testing. And this is what, after that, so because you introduce a new feature and you have some significant change here, you want to generate documentation or update your documentation because this is still very critical for whole project. And then after this is test the past. You have a satisfied documentation. You just commit the code, like what you do for like old days, right? So you finish something, you commit it. And I want to call it out, is this a PR summary or commit message? Use this very smartly. Don't just put, okay, I did this, and put more information. Or you can even ask AI to generate this based on what you change. The reason is this is not only for user, this is also can be used for AI later. So treat this as another type of documentation. So what you do, this is a whole project history here. And after that, what I want to do is, you can see everything here, feature goal, user story. You probably need to tap in or discuss with AI. Is very, very important if you can integrate this with some project management tool. Because for complicated project, you probably have GitHub project, right, or Kanban board, or whatever task list there, you have those information there. So try to use them to integrate with that project management tool. So let's AI to match this development workflow itself. So I think that's going to be the next topic. Henan going to talk about the SuperClaude, how you can match this workflow. And for me, let me do a quick summary here. So what I want to share today is treat AI agent, code agent like another additional team member for you. It's not only just a powerful tool for yourself. And think about how if you get the new teammate, you have a new junior person, intern, how you help them to understand the whole project, and you can treat them like the same. So how to do this is manage context from 3 different levels: stable, the whole project level, and feature is like sprint, what your goal for now, and task is very, very specific job, fix a bug or add a new feature or change the database schema, right? So then follow this procedure. So after that, I believe you can get some different result, and that's what I did and what I felt. And then I want to share this with everyone. So yeah, any questions before I hand off to Henan for the SuperClaude next topic? Yeah, so how does Claude Code know where to find your project level info versus sprint goals? Do you need to explicitly provide the file path in the conversation with Claude? For the project level or for each folder, that's a stable level, right? So that's called Claude.md. Claude code itself has a built-in tool to read those files and send into the conversation. And if you want to have a specific one for each sprint goal or each task, then yes, that's the. Let me share my screen back. Sorry. Yeah.
Also, like in my sharing, I can cover some of that.
Okay, great. So then let me answer this from high level. And John, if let's please hold that question. If Guoliang cannot answer that, we can jump back in, right? So that's what I mean is additional documentation. You can put it in and you can say, Mr. Claude, please read this document for my next sprint goal, right? So then start the conversation from there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, cool. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, Henan, you want to go next?
Sure, yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Henan Li, and I am a co-founder of Research Triangle AI. Uh, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
So just for before we start jumping into things, I am not a professional programmer. I don't have a coding background. I do uh, find myself doing code-related work, and this is kind of to answer the question that Yuri brought up earlier, like why do you use generative AI to do deterministic work? I just find it enabling for someone like me to kind of catapult my idea to the next level, and just really helps me take that step from 0 to 1. So today I'm gonna be mostly showing my IDE. There was a request earlier in the chat to show IDE, so here I am showing my IDE. This is Cursor for those of us who are familiar. So the way I use Cursor is I generally don't open the AI panel that ironically Cursor is known for. I mainly stay inside the terminal, and here is where I talk to Claude Code. So for those of us who are familiar with Claude Code, you don't need to have a graphical interface to talk with it. You mostly type in your commands, and a vanilla way of interacting with Claude will be like uh, evaluate this project, right? So something like this. This is very vanilla. There's nothing. There's no parameters. There's no slash nothing. And this works. So if I just enter, Claude Code is going to come back to me with a very generic pre-built default behavior. So it's going to take a few minutes and it's going to burn through some tokens. So while it's doing that, let's look at what we're talking about today, which is SuperClaude. So what is SuperClaude and why do we need that when we have Claude already, Claude Code running in the background, running smoothly for a lot of people? This is a configuration, quote unquote, configuration framework or meta programming framework. And what it does is it's it takes the difficulty level down for prompt engineering, and it keeps the context managed. So sorry for the screen movements as I try to navigate the website. So it's built on top of Claude, you could say, or you could think of it as a toolbox that's alongside the default Claude Code commands. So here's how you install. In terminal, if you have your Python install, you could just directly type in pipx install SuperClaude, and then the next command will install 30 slash commands. And this is why it's called SuperClaude. It's introducing kind of a superpower to Claude, where you could really narrow down what you want. For example, if you want deep research, you could slash sc comma colon semicolon research, and it will do that. It will do just that, and it's optimized for that. If you want it to implement something, there's a slash command for that. If you want it to test, if you want it to do anything, it's really direct, and it takes away the labor. I would say it takes away the burden from the user to write very long prompts every time, because all of us know that prompt engineering is important, right? But none of us has got that time, especially when we're vibe coding. It defeats the whole purpose. We're not engineers here trying to build like rockets, right? We're just trying to spin up a personal project. So let me. So I just came back to the original Claude command that I started, the vanilla command, and it just finished running after about 5 minutes, I think. So it does take time for Claude Code to carry through a task. So to save us some time, I've previously set up a demo project here. It's a very lightweight Next.js project. If you want to follow along or you want to look at the code that I have here, I will post the link in chat later for you to look at the repository on GitHub. But basically what this is a very lightweight front-end, back-end thing. It's an app that runs, that does spin up locally. So let me see if I can go further up here. So it looks, I could show you a little bit of what I was just doing. So the latest command I gave it was I wanted a toggle, a dark mode toggle to the web app. So let me show you what I mean. So this is the app that this is what this does. It's very quickly it spins a wheel to decide what to eat today. So for many of us who are struggling with keeping our menus fresh, this just spins, and with the selected category, it just decides that. Oh, we already spotted a bug here, so later we can try to troubleshoot this. So the wheel is stopping at breakfast, but it's showing Italian food. So something's up with this mechanism. So this is what I'm talking about. This is not a serious project, but it could be useful for somebody. It's a small project, and I personally think this is the perfect entry point for a lot of non-coders today with the AI assistants available. So this is what I built, and I wanted to have a light and dark mode toggle here. So this is what I asked it to do. So you could probably, okay, so let me go further up and make it a little bit bigger so easier to read. I do apologize for the scrolling because this will save us time to actually run the commands. Okay, so this is what I asked it. So this is the command that I typed in, and I ask it to /SuperClaude implement a feature using the persona front-end designer using the MCP server magic, which is a UI library I will show later. And the prompt that I actually wrote is very short. It's just build a dark mode toggle. That's it. So in the past, if I were to ask something like ChatGPT to do it, I would say, you are a front-end designer. This is a Next.js project. This is my file. Using the magic UI library, build a dark mode toggle. So even as I say that, it's a very long prompt, and it's going to eat up into your context, and it's going to be there forever, basically, unless it's compacted. So if we don't want that, I think SuperClaude is a very elegant solution here that you can try. So what it does, it's allowing, you can see here that it's allowing 8 tools for this command. So as a front-end designer, let's see what it can do. So if we go to the documentation here, you don't have to read every single thing here, but let me just search front-end. So I think they recently updated the documentation, so it's not showing me every single persona now. But basically, it does understand UI patterns, and it's optimized to do front-end tasks. So it has a lot of tools available that's specific to that task. So that is so there are 2 ways of saying the same message. It has those tools, but the other side of the coin is that it doesn't get bogged down by the other things that it's not asked, that I didn't ask it to do. It's not evaluating the security. It's not doing it, because later on in the life cycle, in the development, I'm going to ask a better equipped persona to do that part. So you can kind of see how I'm approaching this. I'm kind of dividing and conquering. I'm just asking the appropriate agent to do the appropriate thing. at the right time that I'm asking it to do it. So okay, so I think at this point, let me introduce this thing that I literally just built today, and it's going to be shared along with the code in the GitHub repository. So what it is that it helps you write because it's still kind of daunting to write this if you're just new to SuperClaude or Claude Code in general. So this is just a very quick mechanism to kind of construct your prompt. So this is where you type your prompt. This is for using the example that I was saying. The prompt is just build a toggle, but you can select all that's available here, right? So later, I mentioned later on I wasn't considering the security of this project. So maybe later on I want to use the persona of security engineer, and I'm gonna ask it to think hard, and I'm going to use the sequential MCP server, and then I'm gonna ask it to review the security of this app, right? So this is you can just copy and paste this into your Claude Code, and it will do that. So let's see what it looks like when it's running. So we can see that it's allowing 5 tools for this command, and it's not going to show you every single thing it's doing, but it's showing a fair amount. It's showing you the MCP that it's loading. It will show you the files it's reading. It will show you how many thoughts it had because it's using the sequential thinking MCP, and it will take some time. So as it's doing that, we could be looking at other things such as, how we can tie that back into what Ely was just saying about, managing the long-term memory of a project. He mentioned the compacting of context because it gets too long. I have the same feeling. As you have a long conversation, as you can see here, I have a very long conversation going. All of this, if it's staying in the context, is not going to help me very much. So what I like to do is after I develop a feature or I just finish one commit, which is a very isolated effort, I would just ask it to use its Git tool belt. So this will summon all the Git tools it has and just has it commit and push. Simple as that. So what it will just do that, and then after that, I can kind of consider that part of my effort is done. So I could clear my okay. It looks like I've hit my limit for Claude Code. Because I've downgraded to the $20 plan. But if you have a bigger plan, you could totally run this for a while, but it does eat into the context. Using Claude Code, you do have to be mindful about your context and your tokens. But just very quickly, so what you want to do after each commit is you want to /clear because it resets everything, not everything, but it keeps the long-term memory, but it erases the short-term things that's going to be distracting for the next task. So the next thing you do, you can start from scratch and ask it to, for example, finish a task that it was running before, or another manual saving for the gamers among us. We like to save and load. So you could do this, and it will summon the SuperClaude save mechanism, which it uses a MCP integration to do. Myself, I am not too familiar with how exactly it does that, but I do use this sometimes. So what this does is after this, it'll run a cycle and it will save your progress so far, your today's work or your in that thread into long-term memory. And the next time you load it up, all you have to do is sc load. and you will be right back where you were, but you don't have to retell how far along you are with the project. So, okay, looks like we are unable to show all of this live, but I hope this gives you a taste of what it can do and what it does. And if you get one takeaway from my talk today, I will encourage you to just explore the their Git repository. They have a lot of useful examples here. And next time when you're typing a command into Claude Code, the key takeaway will be to think about, hey, maybe this is better equipped for a SC troubleshoot or SC secure. SC improve with a security mindset. So that will make it a lot more efficient. So to wrap up the talk, I want to show kind of a conceptual breakdown of SuperClaude. So on the left is by area or of expertise, how many like Claude Code personas or skills it has across different areas. So this is the rough breakdown in the latest version. And on the right side is showing why people use SuperClaude. It's saving context. So in the first category, it minimizes context switching. So lower is better in this category, and it minimizes hallucination. So also lower is better. In the third one, token usage. As I said, you don't have to type in very long prompts compared to vanilla. So it's saving on token. And also the dev speed is kind of a relative subjective measure of how fast you can move things. So yeah, this is why I use SuperClaude. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask in chat or unmute. I hope I have preemptively addressed some of the questions in chat.
Yes, so if anyone has questions, so please feel free to unmute and ask. If not, we'll jump to the next topic, and at the end, you can always come back to SuperClaude if you think of any questions. Let me share my screen. So my name is Guoliang Cao. I'm a co-founder of RTAI. I have been doing development for about 25 years professionally. So today I'm going to share 3 tools or like workflows or whatever you call it. So I'm not as prepared as the other guys. So just please excuse me for not being very well organized. First one I'm going to talk about is called OpenSpec. OpenSpec is already opened it here. So it's a tool for spec-driven development for AI coding assistant. It has its website here, and this is its GitHub homepage, README page. So what can we use OpenSpec for? It's pretty much you do spec-driven development. Spec-driven development means you first write the spec for the feature you are developing, and then you follow that spec to develop the feature step by step. And this tool is not the only tool in this field. There are several tools. Let me jump to here. So there are other tools like this one called Spec-Kit and another one called Kiro.dev. I believe this is released by Amazon. And also you may not be using any spec tools right now. So OpenSpec compared to those one, I think the best functionality it provides is good for developing adding additional feature to a mid to large size application. So I'm going to show you like in order to use this one, first you will need to install. So this is a command you can install OpenSpec, and OpenSpec can support multiple agents. So not just Claude Code, it supports Codex and the Augment and other AI coding agents. So what you do is after you install it, so in your repository, you run OpenSpec init, and it will ask you to, so let me try to run it here. So I already have it set up, but I just want to show you. So I hope you can read my screen. Is it good enough?
It's good to me. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, when you run init, run OpenSpec init, it will ask for which agents you use. Like here, I already use Claude Code and Codex and already installed them, so it's toggled. But if you are using something else like WindSurf or the cursor, you can just toggle those and install it. So this is how you install OpenSpec. And how I use it, I probably only use the very basic features of this tool. It has many features. I encourage you to go through this page and see exactly how it works and what feature it provides. How I use it is, so first I use OpenSpec to draft a proposal and design and the specs for that feature, and then I will read what it generates, and I will read the proposal it generates, and then also then I will ask if the proposal looks good. I will ask it to create a design, and then after I will review the design and the spec, etc. If everything looks correct to my feature, then I will ask it to implement. And at the end, after it implemented, I will like probably do some code review, do some testing, manual testing, and everything looks good. Then I commit everything, included the OpenSpec files into the repository. So let me show you some existing feature I created using OpenSpec. And then at the end, I will also just quickly show you how to create a proposal. So this is a public repository. So if you guys want to look at this yourself, like this is available, I can put the link in the chat. So when you run OpenSpec and create a proposal, so inside the repository, there is an OpenSpec directory, and then under OpenSpec directory, there is at least a changes folder. And under that changes folder, all the history, all the proposals, features you created using OpenSpec will appear here. So what I want to show you is this specific one. This is a feature I used. And when you run OpenSpec, and so when you run OpenSpec and the proposal command and give it a feature request, it will generate several files. It will generate proposals, tasks, and specs. So proposal is the high-level overview of the requirement. So pretty much talk about why do you want to add this feature, and what changes with this feature request, and what it will impact. So I especially like how the OpenSpec organized the documents related to a feature. So this proposal is high level, it's short, and it's like well written, and you can read it quickly. And like if you don't agree with anything it created for you, you can always go back to that go back to the Claude Code screen and tell it to change something. So this is the proposal. And then it will also create a list of tasks to do. So tasks is pretty much is like the steps it takes to create this, to complete this feature. So it will probably split the tasks by major components. For example, here, compiler, runtime, and also like validation and docs. So it created this nice list of tasks. And then it also created a spec of, like, this is not very complete spec. I don't know, like maybe you can ask it to create a lot more specs, but this one, it just created two specs for you. And after I look at the proposal, I will, like, if everything is correct, I will ask it to come up with the design. So the design, it's not the OpenSpec. OpenSpec is just like tell the agent to create this format of documents, but it really, how well the design will be created will depend on the capabilities of your AI coding agent. So Claude Code is pretty good. So I usually just use Claude Code, and it will come up with a very well design and put in this design markdown. And I will review this design, and then everything looks good. Then I just tell it to say implement this proposal, and it will like continue to work on it and until everything is done. So that is how you use OpenSpec to develop feature. I can probably do a quick demo just to create some proposal for you. So I just run this command in the Claude Code, and this is a slash command. So if you use Claude Code, you know it has some built-in slash commands. And when you install OpenSpec, it will add this slash commands like OpenSpec proposal, and they just type this, and it will start to try to come up with the proposal. So this is the new one that is just created. So this change adds MySQL database connected and the requirement database connectivity API compatibility. Like I already have a SuperClaude library, so it want to have the same API, and it will integrate, like this library will be added to this namespace, and it will be built as a external library, etc. And how do you build it? Like you need to be able to build this library, and also you need to have some external dependencies, etc. So yeah, this is a very complete proposal in order to add this library to a language. And it also created a design. I did not ask about it. Now it will create a design automatically. So it will create it has a architecture overview, connection management, like probably connection pool or like thread safe connection table, and etc. Like it will wrap the extension. And then this is the design, the classes, the API, etc. So yeah, we are not going to the details tasks. This one, it split into 4 phases. It did not like list as each one is a specific task that can be toggled, but still like each one is a task. So yeah, this is how you use OpenSpec, and I think it's a very good tool to help you manage the context of a new feature. And most of the time when we are adding new features to an existing system. So I think this is a very good tool.